Hi again. So my son just reminded me how important it is for us to play and laugh and giggle and lift our spirits. We all get bogged down and shit gets heavy. I know life's heavy, right? Especially when you feel like you're walking this life alone, you're fighting your battles alone. Nothing's really exactly the way you want it, but your Facebook page shows the world that you're okay, even though you're breaking inside. But anyways, just wanted to remind you to play, and don't get mad when things break. That was a big. If I were this way, I would rip your head off, but it's okay, I won't. So he and I were playing, and he broke something, and it's all good though. It probably should have been broken, and it should be a message received. Anyways, I'm not going to go into those details, but I just wanted to remind you to play, And one of my favorite songs is by Wookiefoot. It's called Be Fearless and Play. If you haven't heard it, it's a really good song. But it talks about being here and just being fearless and playing, We all work our lives away, and that makes me think of The Shining. All work and no play makes John a dull boy, I think is what he types on his typewriter while he was writing his book. And then he goes crazy and tries to kill everybody with an axe. But anyways, just try to play so you don't run after people with an axe and just feel murderous or like you yourself want to tap out in life, because I know it's really hard. I know a lot of people are waking up and looking for guidance and going, I don't even know where to start. So where you start is with a smile, is with laughter from the heart, a hug and embrace without looking for something intimate, or just doing something for somebody without needing something in return. And you'll find the more that you give to the world, the more the world gives back to you. And it's not going and giving to the world with the intention of, I'm going to gain this and I'm going to gain that, because that's a dark side. Of course, a lot of people want to be compensated for their time, their efforts, whatever it is, because we live in a competitive, monetized world. So when it comes down to it, we're taught that every action we put out needs to have some sort of reward on the backside, right? Even as kids, we're teaching them, okay, now if you mind, maybe I'll take you to get ice cream, or you can stay up 30 minutes later, or we're always bargaining, trying to get them to behave, rather than teaching them the purpose of why they need to behave. And it's not to be perfect little people. It is to be able to have the ability to think and make choices for yourself that are going to be beneficial for you further down in your life. When your parents aren't around to change your diaper anymore, or give you your bottle, or feed you when you're hungry, or give you money to go to the movies, whatever it is that people do for their kids, they need to be taught in a way that is helping them to understand there's a bigger picture to this whole charade called life, because we are on a stage. Everyone's watching us, whether you believe it or not. If you go out in public and you just kind of glance around, you'll notice people noticing you. And it got to a point, at one point, I started to notice people noticing me because other people pointed it out to me. And then I just got that RBF, the resting bitch face, like, don't approach me, don't talk to me, I don't want anything to do with you, because I kept meeting people that wanted to unload their emotional baggage onto me. And for a long time, I was a bellhop. I was like, sure, yeah, tell me about what's going on. Really? Oh, and I was given free advice on how they could handle fixing their situations. And it's funny because I would even see some of these people months down the road, and they're like, oh my God, what you said, and it changed their life. And I wasn't getting the same back out of people. Like, even if I needed to open up to people, they just stare at me blankly and be like, oh my God, you're amazing. Or why? Why does that matter? I mean, just not an equal balance for me. And I mean, that's the possibility that I'm a high vibing person. It takes a lot of work to stay high vibing. You know, it takes a lot to say, I'm not going to let the world get me down. I'm not going to let the world's opinion of me change me. I'm not going to alter my efforts because somebody tells me the ways I can fail. Because anytime I've shared my dreams with people, of course, automatically they want to tell me why that won't work. And I have to cut them off and say, look, if you don't have anything positive to say, don't give me your unsolicited opinion. Because at this point, I've thought of every way this can fail. I thought of every negative aspect. Believe me, I've thought it through. I'm not a child with these fantasies of, I'm going to save the world one day. And, oh, you know, who was it? The Miss America pageant. I want world peace. They all had the same answers to the same questions. And I'm not lost in what is realistic in this world. I also know that there's a lot of people that don't believe that we can make the world a better place. And it's those people with those mindsets that are holding back the world from becoming a better place. And it's for themselves personally. So if you're dealing with people that are naysayers, you gotta try to keep what you're doing under wraps, because negativity is very contagious. And when people start placing negative thoughts in your head, or they start thinking negative on your situation, they don't even have to talk to you about it, but they're putting energy into your concept, whether you know it or not. So by them doing that, they are inadvertently affecting your success. And that's why it's really important to be very careful about who you're talking about your hopes, dreams, and aspirations with. But I know this started on the note of you've got to be fearless and play, because that right there is a very big fuel source for a lot of dreams. And I know that sounds crazy because it's a childlike mentality, but that's the whole thing about imagination, right? As children, we were imaginative, and we really did go off in space in a box. You know, we really did become a superhero in a towel wrapped around our neck. We really did become that deep sea scuba diver in the bathtub. And we were so free. We were careless. People were taking care of our needs. But when it comes down to it, you might not have people taking care of your needs, but you have to really start believing that you have a divine crew behind you of light workers, of greater entities, more powerful. You have archangels, and you do have guardians and protectors. And we watch all these sci-fi movies, right? The ones that are like out of this world. Most people can't fathom these concepts. But when it comes down to it, there's a reality to the magic that is being portrayed to you. And there's a reason we can only see so much of the light spectrum with our eyes. If we could see the whole picture, a lot of us would be like, holy shit, how did we end up in this? How did life become this? And it would be almost too magical for people to comprehend. And that in itself would destroy the human psyche like that. Because there's things we're not ready to accept as a culture. It would almost be like if aliens were invading this planet and they told everybody about it. You would have mass hysteria. You would have people hurting each other. You would have people taking themselves out. You would have people so overridden with fear that they wouldn't be able to even live in the present moment in a positive aspect. So it's the same with witnessing the magic of life. And the only way you're going to witness the magic of life is to be fearless and play. And I will keep thanking Wookiefoot for that, because that song was one of those that just had me like, yeah, just jamming and realizing. And if you haven't heard Wookiefoot at all, you should go check them out, because they're a cool little band that brings new insights into your human psyche for you to start breaking the bonds of the matrix and the 3D reality in which we exist. Because you're not going to get away from this concept until you can expand your mind. And once you begin to expand your mind is when you can start expanding your heart, for one, believing in miracles, trusting in a higher power, believing in magic, because it's everywhere, whether you see it or not. I mean, you have to imagine these big trees drop little seeds that eventually become big trees or flowers or whatever it is they're dropping. Not only that, you have birds that pick them up in one place and carry them thousands of miles to another place, and everything's just spreading around the world magically. So just remember, enjoy your weekend and enjoy a moment of laughter and hope and just freedom for once. Don't worry about what tomorrow has to bring. If you feel like, because I keep thinking, I want to go fishing. A lot of that's just to catch sun and sit on a dock next to the water. But if you feel the urge to do something, do it. You know, the beach has been calling my sister and I for a minute now. So who knows, maybe we'll go fishing at the beach tomorrow. But I'm going to leave it at that for now, and hope everybody has a good rest of their day, and peace, love, and light. Bye-bye.